My ethos when dealing with clients is very much one of collaboration and honesty and trust. I believe that we need to be aligned together to work to the same goal. I have had a lot of experience in the public sector, so I'm very conscious about the social ethos within that environment and the community work that they're involved in. And the same can be applied with SMEs as regards the efforts that they make. They're a key component about within the UK growth mechanism. And at the end of the day, if I believe in their business model and I can help them, then I'm happy to work in a collaborative way.
One recent client I was involved with as part of the EFM network involved obtaining funds on their behalf, and the advantage of being part of the network was the breadth of solution providers that were available as a result. I can only know so many people. There is a greater breadth of knowledge amongst the associates, which gave me a better opportunity to choose the appropriate horse for the course and provide the appropriate solution or selection of solutions to the client.
Just after I joined, Gary introduced me to a client in London, an advertising agency, and the brief was very simple. The company was about to pay their staff and there wasn't enough money in the bank, so I did sort of smile. I thought, well, this will be a short-term task, won't it? I won't be there very long, but I have to say 12 months on, I'm still there. And it's worked very well. Gary has an overseeing role because he met the client first and made the introduction. But during that time, I've kept the company going to some extent in terms of we haven't run out of cash, which we thought we would do, and we haven't had to go to the bank to borrow funds. So that's been good. What's been particularly pleasing about it is just last month, that company made me their employee of the month. So all the years I was actually in paid employment, I was never employee of the month. And then when I'm not their employee, I've become employee of the month. So I've got this rather beautiful 18-inch bronze statuette sitting on my desk, and I know it cost £2,500 because it was one of the creditors I had to pay when I initially joined.
I'm an accountant by training, by qualification, by experience, but I actually practice as a finance director working mainly with the senior management, and I've been in financial services for the last probably 25 years or so. But I originally qualified, I started training as a chartered accountant for a company amongst whose clients was Mike Oldfield. Now you have to be a certain age to remember Mike Oldfield. And my very first job was to add up the numbers in what was then called a private ledger. So that was all before computers. Time has moved on. I spent time working in France, in Paris, which was great, in the fund management industry. Then went on to live in Luxembourg, where I set up a fund administration company, again in financial services, before coming back to London with my family, continuing my life in financial services.
Well, when the recession hit, we worked with a lot of SMEs that very quickly experienced cash difficulties. And it was our experience that most business owners really didn't know how to handle that position. They were good inventors or good salespeople. And so what it did for us was create an opportunity to tap into our experience of putting a finance director into a business on a part-time basis to help them through some very difficult cash management positions. What it did for my business also was then create an opportunity, because a lot of finance people in slightly bigger companies got made redundant.
I think what EFM has provided, not just through developing your own network, but through the network of all the professionals who are there, is often a rapid and broader route into the type of experience you need. I mean, for instance, with private equity or with venture capital firms, we've certainly been able to make some contacts that would have been really difficult to make otherwise. And that's certainly for the number of the clients I work with who are acquisitive or looking at some form of change or reorganisation has been a very important factor. Your average accountant is not a particularly good salesperson, it's fair to say. And I think EFM has given us the sales and marketing skills, either through the centre providing some of those skills themselves, or perhaps in just giving you the confidence to go ahead and deal with the matter a different way. That's probably the best way of putting it, yeah. So it's giving you a confidence perhaps that maybe you didn't have before.
So with the EFM model, it means I can do what I've always done, that I can do what I am really good at, but I can do it for so many more people. And I really see it as helping people and using that data in your financial database to make informed decisions.
Okay, one interesting client that EFM brought to me, which is proving slightly taxing and challenging, but at the same time there is a lot of potential there, and it's also interesting, is a consultancy-based business in the City of London that came through the network. And in recent weeks, the managing director has decided to resign and move on to another opportunity, and they've decided to remove the finance team. So all of a sudden, I'm left holding the baby. I've been negotiating with the French CFO, who's Paris-based, and I've been able to bring in 2 colleagues from EFM to hopefully not only enable us to hold the baby, but to enable the baby to grow up. Not sure I like the metaphor, but basically to enable them to have a finance team that will function and report to group head office. And where EFM has really held its own there is I've just been able to place a phone call or 2 and say, can we do one of these, and have you got somebody who can do this? And also on the systems side, there's expertise there because they've got some systems weaknesses on a system I'm not familiar with. And again, someone in the Luton office was able to supply some background as how to deal with it.
You know, if somebody is struggling, there was a guy last week who wanted to ring around and he actually didn't know physically how he should start the phone call. So it's ringing me for those tips and going through the script with him so that he goes away feeling much more comfortable and happy that he can actually do it, and getting the feedback afterwards that, yeah, it worked. One of the things that I've recognised working with the associates is how they undervalue what it is they do and how they do it, and the incredible value they can add to small owner managed businesses. There are 2 core functions in a business in my mind. One is selling, the ability to win customers, and the other is money. How do we manage our money? How do we control our finances? How do we make sure that we succeed and grow? And I think for our guys going into a business, they play a key role in the success of that business, and often they don't recognise that before they actually come and work with us, and we really help to unleash that potential and give them the confidence that, yeah, I know what I do, I know that what I do is good, but now how do I get that across so that potential clients out there really get it and want to work with us and gain considerable value from actually tapping into the resource of a part-time FD, because it's such a critical part of a business's success and future. And that's been really important.
A typical client of EFM is a small, medium-sized enterprise, probably 5 to 25 staff, looking to grow, looking to expand, probably got a need to have better financial management, better control over its cash to help it move through that expansion, and probably work with the owner who has never had to work with someone who makes him or helps him understand his finances.
If you're tired of the drudgery of an ever-lengthening workday and you want more flexibility in your work-home-life balance, then I cannot recommend this highly enough. The added bonus is that you get to feed off and converse with like-minded individuals who believe in the same thing. What I would say is, come and join the revolution.